As Muslims, we are taught, if you see something wrong, fix it with your hands. If you cannot fix it with your hands, then fix it with your words. If you cannot fix it with your words, then condemn it with your heart. I condemn the illegal state of Israel and its murderers upon the Palestinians with my words and all of my heart. What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Israel is losing what little or imagined support it has or has had. We have to look at the big picture, everybody, because I always tell you, nothing is happening in a vacuum. Nothing happens separate from everything else. Whiteness blankets this planet, and their disease is in everything. But we always see when they desperately need to put over big lies or big agendas, one of the earmarks is always the language. And in general, my observation is white people always want you to think how they think and say the shit they say. You see, they're all into diversity and individualism as long as their agenda is being carried over. You see, it all changes when it's not them. And what we're seeing with this genocide, this Holocaust being perpetrated upon the Palestinians in this hour is akin to what we saw during the height of COVID and 9/11, and any of the big events, JFK assassination. You need to speak with their language and say what they say the truth is, when no human being should ever take truth from these people, because they're exactly the antithesis of truth, righteousness, and good intent. We saw during COVID that, if you didn't carry the vomit that they were forwarding, then you were a misinformationalist and you were a bad person, and, down the list they went. And we're saying the same thing with this, as we've always seen. What we really need to be getting to the bottom of is, why is this government, other than just whiteness, because that would be all we needed. Frankly, that's all I need. They're all white, so that's it. But for those who would need more, you need to be getting to the root of why is this government so dedicated to this illegal fucking state occupied by a people who are not even from this nation. They're from Europe, they're from Poland and Germany and Russia, and they're not even from here. Why does this government continue to pay them reparations? And they have the biggest lobby on Capitol Hill, and It is only them whose prime minister or president can come and stand in the chamber of the Capitol and address both houses of our Congress. This is the same scene we see when the President of the United States is about to give the damn State of the Union. How odd is this shit? Look. I'm over it. I mean, this is extraordinary. Like, not just for here, but there's no other country on earth that does this. Why is this so important? Because that's the Achilles heel, and that's what needs to be taken down. That's what's got to be gotten to. Why do you care about them so much? Why do you give them carte blanche to do anything they want to do? And as I pointed out to you millions of times, and even as recently as in my video just before this one, I presented to you a rabbi who said exactly what I've been saying to you for years. These people are Zionists. They have nothing to do with Israel. They have nothing to do with Judaism. They have nothing to do with Jews. These are not Jews. Damn it. They're just demonic demons. Racist, white supremacist, evil ass fucking people who deserve whatever they get. And they want this language that Israel has the right to defend itself. Well, that's what we need as black people, because we've been oppressed just as much, if not more, than the Palestinians. Our situation is vastly not that much different than theirs. And so we have the right to defend ourselves, you see? But as with anyone who stands against this white devil, they want to approach and oppress and aggress upon you at will for as long as they are happy to do it. And the moment you offer any resistance, they call you everything under the sun, except for a sovereign human being defending yourself against their white ass. That's what we're seeing in this situation, because they're consistent. They're the same devil, no matter what century you read about them in, past or present, and goddammit future. It's the same demon. Now, I went through and took the pain of watching nearly 3 hours of this UN Security Council meeting that they had today. And I watched all the speakers. I didn't watch Israel, or I'm sorry, I didn't watch the U.S., Blinken's bitch ass. And I watched, actually I did watch all the Israeli fucker. Because I didn't need to see Blinken. I know what he's going to say. He's just going to sit there and lick the ass of Israel, lick the ass, you see. And so the Israeli bastard, after most of the countries were condemning, well, they have to condemn Hamas just as a gratuity. But I'm going to show you a piece from Julius Malema, my near twin. um, who said something very profound. He said to condemn Hamas is an act of cowardice. I loved it. I loved it. Yes, it is an act of cowardice. But we'll come to that. So most of the countries at this UN Security Council, of course, they start with the vomit of, they condemn the attacks of Hamas and blah, blah. But they went on to, in their own language, not mine, basically call Israel some bullshit. Like, you don't just have carte blanche to do whatever you want. Why I'm presenting this is because I'm learning now that since the UN Security Council ended, there was this dust up. I saw this guy, I think this is the Brazilian representative, and I loved what he had to say. He really kind of set the tone for me. I think he was the first speaker. I'm like, okay, good. At least we're going to have some people that's not going to be going along with this bullshit. And when the Israeli representative spoke, he seemed like a reptilian demon who, as if he didn't hear what everybody else in the room was saying. But that's also very stark, because this is a dangerous, demonic people who need to be destroyed, everybody, based on especially what we're seeing now. Like, they really don't give a fuck about anything other than themselves. That's 100% true. That makes them dangerous to all of humanity. And we should be condemning our own government here. Condemning, and striking fear in the various representatives and leaders of this fucking nation. To say, not in our name. Y'all got your little good old boys clubs and shit like that. That don't have shit to do with us. You see? But they will get us all killed behind their bullshit. So we have a responsibility to put a stop to them. At any cost. Why are they so joined at the hip with these murdering demons? Other than they're murdering demons themselves. But why are they so joined at the hip? And details like this that I'm showing you now make it even more glaring. Here is what this gentleman said earlier during the Security Council meeting. You're going to have to turn your volume up. I can't get no more out of this. It's at 100. I can't do shit else. But now, he'd already, the clip comes in the middle of his remark, because he had already, condemned Hamas. But he goes on to say this, and this is what is a problem apparently to these itched ass people. Hear this.
Recognize the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum.
We have to also recognize that the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. I'll let it go on.
The Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation. They have seen their land steadily devoured by settlements and plagued by violence.
Now, then here is the reptilian demon from Israel. And look how sick these people, he looks, and these people behind him. They just, ugh. But just that alone, because this is how obsessed they are. Just even giving any humanity to the Palestinians, it makes you worthy of attack. Anything at all. You're only supposed to say Israel is perfect. I'm not even exaggerating. You're only supposed to say Israel is perfect and leave it at that. You see? But what he had to say was very important. And why it was so upsetting to this asshole. Because he not only did he not kiss the ass of Israel, but he dared to give legitimacy to any attack, damn near. Well, certainly this one, I'm extrapolating too far, but he's saying this didn't happen in a vacuum. In other words, it might be terrible and all of that, and we could condemn it, but there's a reason why it happened. You see, just like with all white people, anytime they do anything, they want to start where they are right now and act like the shit they did, the shit they shitted out 5 minutes ago doesn't still stink. You see, we relate to this because they tell us to get over slavery and Jim Crow and all the other shit and the years of terrorism, stealing our land and murdering us off our land, and on the list I could go. They want to forget all that and start today. Nah, bitch. Meanwhile, they're the ones who came up with the very idea of a background check and holding you accountable for some shit you did when you were 3. They're the definition of hypocrisy. The definition. So they want to act like October 7th, October 6th, there had been nothing but peace and paradise in Palestine and this illegal shit stain called Israel. It was all peace and just paradise. Only angels dwelled there. And suddenly, on October 7th, these demonist Hamas people, out of nowhere, out of no provocation, on these holy people in Israel who have never so much as even farted in public, were attacked. Now, as ridiculous as my description sounds, that's exactly what it is. And my growling stomach, that's something else. Listen, you need a voice in mainstream public who will get on Fox or anybody else and say, listen, not just October 7th, but this is what Hamas or anybody else, any right-minded people should have been doing to their bitch ass since 1948. Because they've been massacring fucking Palestinians since before 1948, quite frankly. But certainly since 1948. The untold death, bloodshed, and suffering to the Palestinian people. Fuck these people. They're not due for any sympathy or any fucking consideration. And where they're at now, we should be dancing and celebrating for any fucking deaths that they have in goddamn Israel. Because that's where they brought it to. And most of those people that are there, not only aren't they Jews, they're not even holy people. They're not even religious. Before we even get to anything else. They're not even religious. There they were, having LBGT fucking marches in their fucking country. Oh, I thought you were a holy country. I thought you were holy. Not. But here was his response before I continue to editorialize. Here was his response.
There is not two sides.
There's not two sides.
At this moment.
And don't be fooled by this accent, everybody. That is still a white devil. That's all it is. That's all it is. These are nothing but white people standing up there. That's it. There's no Africans. There's no Latinos. There's no Asians. There's no Indians. There's no people of color. And to that end, let me also point out yet again, there's no people of color, so-called, a term I hate. This is better. There are no non-white people that are creating this bullshit on the earth for the rest of humanity. This is the work of nothing but fucking white people. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's why the whole world hasn't gone straight to hell yet. Because the rest of us are too fucking nice and have actual souls and real humanity. You see? These people are the stench of humanity. The upset of all humanity. The interruption. The aberration. The thing. Do you understand? These are nothing but white people. Know that. Now, let us go on.
Moment.
Wait. I want you to hear it all. I'll shut up. It's a very short statement. Because, oh, by the way, so I watched the full Security Council thing. Now, I'm just learning while I'm sharing this with you, because I'm just learning that this dust up happened after the fact. All right? So, he could have picked fights with everybody in there. But this one with the Brazilian guy was so specific because he dared to say this didn't happen in a vacuum. You see? So that got their ass hurt. And also, I'm going to be bringing, and you're going to do your homework too. In fact, you should start doing this now. I want you to start Googling and researching all companies that do business with Israel or support the state of Israel. And you need to not fucking buy those products anymore. And you will start with Starbucks. If you one of these Starbucks ass people, make your own goddamn coffee. Shit. You see? And if you got money to go to Starbucks, you need to be donating to our GoFundMe for our mosque in the Gambia. That's something else. But you will start with Starbucks. Do you understand? No more supporting anybody that supports Israel, because then you are culpable in this life and in the hereafter, and you will have to answer to Allah for that on the great day of judgment, because you've heard me and now you know better. Now you know. All right, hear this white demon. All right, and we'll go on. Wait, damn it. All right, I went back too far. Just hear this again.
By violence.
There is not two sides at this moment. There is only one side to support in front of the aggression of ISIS. Therefore, I decided to cancel my meeting with the Secretary General later on today.
Wow.
There's only one side to support. And you see, this is how they think, everybody, because there was another interview that I was watching of a Zionist fuck. And he was being asked directly, why don't you want the Palestinians to govern themselves? And he said, because they will elect people like Hamas and other people. And the interviewer was saying, are they not able to just govern themselves? Like, what are they, children or some shit? And that's exactly what he was saying. So I overlaid that with our situation as Africans here, you see, and and our brothers and sisters in Africa. They don't want you to run shit because they want to have sway over everything, because they are the only entity on this earth that is obsessed with running the rest of humanity. There's nobody else. If they all died off tomorrow, first we would proclaim Allahu Akbar, glory be to Allah, and then there would be peace for the rest of humanity. You see? But them and those like them just drop dead tomorrow. You have a whole new world. A whole new world. A whole new world. You see? I want to show you Julius Malema, because he is, oh man, subhanAllah, he is saying exactly what needs to be said. And inshallah, he will come to power as president of South Africa next year. I pray Allah that EFF keeps him safe and protected, because you know these white devils are plotting and planning. Let me make sure there was nothing else from this fucker, and then we'll go to Julius Malema.
We'll see where this goes now, Eric.
Okay, then they're pundits to talk about it all over it. Oh, it might be worth to hear what the mainstream liars have to say about that development. We'll just hear this.
On live outside the UN with more now, Eric.
Yeah, Bill, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres calls for him to resign after his comments in which he seemed to justify and explain the bloodthirsty, savage, and brutal terrorist attacks and acts by Hamas. The Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Gilad Erdan, saying he has to step down because the UN has lost its moral authority. The Secretary General's comments came during the Security Council meeting.
You don't agree with them completely wiping out 2 million people, and you're a problem. It is high time that all righteous people of pure conscience convene on that fucking place and get rid of it. Do you understand? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Meeting earlier today on the Hamas-Israeli war, in which he talked about the Israeli occupation, as you heard in his comments, that there's been not happened in a vacuum, that though ignored the fact that Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005.
No, they didn't. You see, here's the Zionist media trying to take up for them. You see what he said? You just supposed to report, bitch. But he's a Zionist. So you see, wait, we have to go back. We have to go back. That, though, ignored the fact that Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005. Bitch, they've been in that bitch since 2005 or 1948. And murdering and killing. Just because Israel said they withdrew, they didn't. Because if they did, there'll be no more fucking Israel. This is not their land. They need to get the fuck out completely. Go someplace else. Let's hear the rest of it.
That, though, ignored the fact that Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005 and that the Gazans elected Hamas to the legislature, and then the Hamas movement overthrew Fatah to control Gaza. The Foreign Minister Eli.
Oh, bitch. You see, the truth came out. The Gazans elected Hamas. No, the Palestinians elected Hamas. You see what I'm saying?
Gaza. The Foreign Minister Eli
Wait.
overthrew Fatah. The Hamas movement overthrew Fatah.
Wait.
And that the Gazans elected Hamas to the legislature.
The Gazans. No, Palestinians, bitch.
And then the Hamas movement overthrew Fatah to control Gaza. The Foreign Minister Eli Cohen said there are not two sides to this, that there is seeming acceptance of the Nazi-like behavior of Hamas here in the hallways of the General Assembly.
That's the other thing. They're starting to throw this word Nazi at you because they want you to continue to associate Nazi with Jew. Nazi with Jew. Remember, they're not Jews, and Nazis are not persecuting them anymore. But again, it doesn't matter because these aren't fucking Jews. These are Zionist, unreligious, demonic people. You understand? Atheists, probably. But they're trying to use this Nazi term on you. Don't fall for that. Don't. Damn it. Because they are the Nazis to the Palestinians and have been since 1948. Worse than. You understand? Because this shit's been going on at least since since before 1948. But their so-called Holocaust lasted 3.5 years and it was over. It was over. It's over. Nothing else to see here, people. Go home.
Here he says, defending not democracy and freedom, but the terrorists.
Right now there is small children and babies in captive. There is any...
Don't talk about small babies and people in captivity with all the shit that you do to the fucking Palestinians every goddamn day. I'm telling you, these people are the devil, everybody. They are the devil. They have no credibility at all, and we wish nothing upon them but death. That's it. That's it.
Any cause for this? There is no cause for this. And shame on him.
In protest, the foreign minister canceled his meeting with Gutierrez. This, as Ambassador Gilad says, too many people here accept Hamas's claims and make a mockery of what the UN is supposed to stand for.
The UN is failing, and you, Mr. Secretary...
Because they don't do what we, the devils, say they should do. You see? And I guess her job back here with the blonde hair was to look as pitiful and fucked up as she could. But that wasn't really a stretch because that's exactly how she looks anyways.
General have lost all morality and impartiality. Because when you say those terrible words that these heinous attacks did not happen in a vacuum, you are tolerating terrorism.
Wow. You see? they will take anything and twist it. Anything. And let us be clear again. We don't have any evidence of this October 7th attack. And interesting that it was in October, because you remember here in this asshole, the devil, it is a known attribute of the political cycle in America that they always talk about the October surprise. Remember? I just rang the bell for you. You just went, yep, they do. They always talk about this October surprise. And what that usually connotes is one side, of the one candidate, one of the candidates, something will come out about a candidate or something. This October surprise, you see, that usually does something to either ruin your campaign or maybe it can help it. But something happens. They call it the October surprise. So it's interesting that this was October 7th. But as I was saying, we have no evidence of this event, October 7th, because we've only seen burnt out cars on fucking Israel's side. That's all we've seen. That's all we've seen. And now they've manufactured artificial AI pictures of these so-called babies that were beheaded, and everybody's had to walk that back, that no, that wasn't true, it was a lie. Damn it, we were found out. You see, these people are devils and they're dangerous, everybody. They're devils and they're dangerous. It is exactly the opposite of what that fucker just said. There's only one side to support here, and that is the Palestinian side. That's it. That's it. And as far as Hamas attacking them, don't start none, won't be none. If you wasn't in their fucking land, there would have never been a Hamas. Therefore, no Hamas could have attacked your bitch ass. You see, the answer to this is you get the fuck out and leave these people alone. That's the answer. They've frustrated all humanitarian aid to Palestine. They bombed the biggest hospital in Palestine. They cut off the power. They shut off the water. They won't allow food and supplies in. This is mass murder being played out in front of the world. And these motherfuckers have the audacity to stand to mics and say this shit. Till I take my last breath, wallahi, the white man is the devil.
The Secretary General's office will only comment on these remarks, saying that the Secretary General in about an hour will be meeting with family members of some of those who are missing, and included in that group some Israeli officials.
By the way, I hope I can find the video. It's as I told you. I said as Muslims, we have rules of engagement for war, everybody. And we uphold those. Because why? We fear Allah and the last day. These demons don't believe in shit, and they think there's only this life. Big difference in character right there. So among that, when you have war, because remember, Israel declared war. So there's no such thing as a fucking hostage. There's only prisoners of war. You see, Palestine didn't say war. Israel said war. So if that's what we're calling it, then these are prisoners of war, bitch, not hostages. And under Islamic law, when you have the taking of prisoners of war, you almost treat them like they're in a 5-star hotel. You do not harm the sick. You do not harm the innocent. In fact, let me put up a graph for you. Well, let's see this out. Now I'm going to show you that. Then I'm going to show you one of the elderly ladies who was released. And she had nothing to say other than how wonderful she was treated. And you don't know any prisoners of war or hostages, quite frankly, that when you're being released, they turn around to go back and shake the hand of their captors. You see? That was very telling. But let's see this out.
Bill, back
Thank
to
you, Eric. More to come on that, certainly.
All right, that's the end of it. Good. All right.
Sandra, tensions running high at the United Nations.
First, I want to show you this 85-year-old woman. Now, look what they've titled it, everybody. Freed hostage 85 says she, quote, went through hell. They actually put that. And nothing that she has to communicate is about going through hell at all. She actually talks about how well they treated her. Her daughter was there translating for her. But there's a moment that I want to point out for you that you don't do if you've been through hell. Let's see this now. This is from CBS News.
They touched down in Tel Aviv overnight, a short flight by helicopter from Egypt. Following.
Now, this is the one here, this first one that's close, right here where my cursor is. All right. That's who, forget her name, but that's who we're talking about.
The Hamas handover, a cup of
Look, they're being given a cup of tea.
a brief farewell to their heavily armed captors in those green headbands.
It's okay, let's go. It's okay.
Now watch this. She's leaving. Watch what she does.
The terrifying ordeal
Look.
they've been through. Yocheved Lifshitz and
She reaches back to shake their hand and say shalom. You see? Because it is the way of the Muslim. And I'm going to put up a graph here in a second to show. In fact, well, let's see this out and then
Norit Cooper out of the hands of Hamas and into the arms of the Red Cross at the Egyptian border. I went
this is her daughter.
through hell.
That's not what she's saying. That's them saying it. Her daughter. There's another. I'll have to find where the daughter is speaking. There's nobody talking over it. That's not what she had to say at all. She talks about how well she was treated. She talks about being taken on a motorcycle to wherever, and then they were in some tunnels. Then they got to the final place and they were in a room. She said that they had doctors there that took care of anybody that was injured or sick. They gave them medication. They made sure they were fed well. They ate the same food as the Hamas people that were holding them. They didn't give them a separate meal or anything like that. I mean, it was all very glorious the way she was describing it. And what do they give you? She said she went through hell. So hear this now. This is all a lie.
Cross at the Egyptian border. I went through hell, Lifshitz said at a press conference. She described how she was kidnapped on a motorcycle. She
Now, wait.
said she was taken inside a miles-long spider web-like tunnel system in Gaza. They treated us gently and they met all our needs, she said. They seemed ready for this. They
treated us gently and took care of all our needs. You see, that's the truth. That other shit, I went through hell. She never said that. She never said that.
prepared it for a long time. She said her husband was separated from her. He is still believed to be held by Hamas, along with at least 220
Notice we haven't heard her daughter speak, but I'm going to show you her daughter speaking.
more hostages, according to Israeli officials.
Because remember, all of your media is also these demonic Zionist, unreligious, unholy people. They're nothing but devils. Same people.
Some of the Israeli military's head.
All right, we don't need the rest of this. We just wanted her. That's it. Okay, wait, they're showing another clip of her. Are they talking over it?
As to where they were being held. But she said the bottom line is they were really well prepared.
Wait now. Hear what other lies they're telling. We have to know it all.
They went to the Rafah crossing in Egypt, which may give an indication as to where they were being held. But she said the bottom line is they were really well prepared for them. So they had food.
Again, we haven't heard her daughter speak at all.
They had cheese. They had.
This is what I've taught you in the past. They will put an image before you and then talk over it. You see? Not just let you see and hear what it is. They're going to tell you what it is you're hearing and saying. No need for you to hear it. They'll just tell you. We're back to the Twin Towers again. And then the towers are collapsing when you literally see towers becoming dust in front of your fucking eyes and being exploded in front of you. Not a collapse.
shampoo, conditioner, soap, hygiene products. So they knew what they were doing, and they knew to keep them prepared. They even had doctors come by with medicine and antibiotics if necessary. So they were prepared, and seemingly they were prepared for the amount of hostages that they've taken.
See,
Yeah.
they're spinning it as well. They were prepared. No, bitch, they were as if it was just like, oh, to do their evil. But I'm going to show you and tell you again what the rules of engagement are and how we treat people we take captive as Muslims. You understand?
And she even said that the place was, generally clean, which made me think, it's not.
Shut up, bitch. All right, let's go to the next piece. Now, this is a shorter clip, and it's not even all of it because the daughter had more to say. And, there was, you could tell they wanted a story that they wanted, you see, not the truth. So I don't know if somebody just didn't talk to her beforehand or whatever, but here's part of what she had to say. I'm trying to find the one that's more complete.
My mom is saying that she was taken on the back of a motorbike and that while she was being
Now, when you saw that transition, that means a bunch of shit was cut out. Watch this.
and
Right there. That's an edit, everybody. That's an edit. See it again.
motorbike and
That's an edit. That's why it's important to watch when you watch something, because you blink, you miss something. You see? Don't blink. Don't blink. When you're watching anything, you watch it.
my mom is saying that she was taken on the back of a motorbike and that
See? If you're just hearing that, you think she's just continuing to speak. That's an edit. That means a bunch of shit just went away.
the back of a motorbike and that while she was being taken, she was hit by sticks. When they arrived,
Now, that was another edit right there. But she said when they arrived,
into a large hall in which about 25 hostages were gathered. They were very friendly towards them and that they took care of them,
they were very friendly towards them. They took care of them.
that they were given their medicine.
They were given their medicine. That's all they're saying on this one. But again, I watched the full one. Where the fuck? We're going to find it. All right. Let's see this one now. I think her daughter is speaking on this one.
Taking place at a hospital in Tel Aviv, where one of the prisoners released by Hamas just yesterday, 85-year-old Yoshevet Lifshitz, is speaking. Let's take a listen to what she has to say.
Okay, we're not going to be able to understand what she says because she doesn't speak English. Let's get to the daughter.
My mom is talking about the conditions.
Wait now.
A meal with cheese.
Fuck this bitch that's speaking over it. Fuck her.
We had a meal.
Well, we'll hear that because then you'll hear the contrast.
We had
They got somebody speaking over this.
that we were fed. We had different things to eat. We had a meal with cheese.
And by the way, this voiceover, the bitch could be lying. That's why it's important to hear the daughter when she speaks. But we'll just hear a little bit of this.
Talking about the conditions and my mom is speaking
Okay, my mom is speaking. Wait now. Hear this. Turn your volumes up. I can't get anything else, everybody. That's all I got.
about the time there. She's telling us about sharing food with the people, that the people, when she first arrived, when they told them that they are Muslims and they're not going to hurt them.
They told her that they are Muslims. They're not going to hurt her. You see?
And that they ate the same food that
They shared the same food, ate the same food.
The Hamas was eating. My My mom feels that it's quite enough at the moment.
Okay, she got a little. It's like it's too much because you see, they got 5,000 microphones and stuff in her face. See, they've been telling you Hamas is barbaric and the Palestinians are nothing but animals, and they expect her to come out and say, "Oh my God, my life was in danger and I couldn't go on." And it's exactly not that. You understand? Let's go on. We'll hear this.
Um, it's wonderful. My mom is very much hoping that all the people that were with her will come back, and the story is not over till everybody comes back and we can start building again something. Oh, yeah.
Look at the microphones. Outrageous.
הם הזהירו אותנו מה זה נקרא, המונים מגיעים לכביש ושרפו למסעדות וכל מה שזרקו, שלחו בלונים עם אש כדי שישרפו לנו את השדות.
I need to move us to where.
Scapegoats for them. They burned our fields.
Wait now.
They burned our fields. We were scapegoats for them. They burned.
Wait.
We were scapegoats for them. They burned our fields.
No. Listen, I know more than what's here. So because she was also condemning Israel, and they're not going to say. So I think this voiceover coming in, they were using us as scapegoats. They burned our fields. The bitch is lying. Let's get to her daughter. I'm over it.
Saturday morning, everything was quiet. Began, and then border.
Plus, you see how tentative the translator is, as if she's not sure. It's not like this lady is rattling on. She's 85, but she's picking her words like fuck her. I can't. Let's get to the daughter.
It was very unpleasant and very difficult.
No, it wasn't. Watch what you hear the daughter say.
Images. Please hold back with your questions.
Look at his hand. He's trying not to give the fucking mic to the daughter. Give the mic to the daughter. Oh my God, I can't.
My mom is saying that they treat them kindly and provided for them.
They treated them kindly and provided for them. Not shit else.
זוכרת שהם סיפרו לכם מה קרה בחוץ? מבחינת
אולי היא יודעת לומר אולי מה שלום בעלה? היא ראתה את עודד, יודעת לומר מה שלום בעלה?
תודה לכולם, אני רוצה לחזור למחלקה, אני מודה
Looking at images of 85-year-old Yocheved Lifshitz, who just spoke to the press from a hospital in Tel Aviv. She, along with 79-year-old Nurit Cooper, were released by Hamas from the Gaza Strip yesterday. They were transported to the Rafah border crossing and were then airlifted to that hospital in Tel Aviv. Now, she was seated alongside her daughter. Her daughter was translating from Hebrew into English, and one of the things she said was she was treated well by Hamas, and that they were provided medical care and given medicine, as well as were provided meals and were eating the same meals as Hamas militants.
Now, here is some, not all, but here is some of the rules of engaging in battle as instructed by our glorious prophet, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do not kill any children, any women, or any elder or sick person, Do not practice treachery or mutilation. Do you understand? Do not uproot or burn palms or cut down fruit trees. And what do these Zionist devils do? They always cutting down the olive trees in Palestine. It's one of the ways they terrorize the Palestinian people. Do not slaughter an animal except for food. Do not kill. So no hunting for Muslims, for you ungodly ass fucking people. All right. Do not kill the monks in monasteries. Do not kill those sitting in places of worship. But what do these Zionists do? They march right into Al-Aqsa Mosque and launch flashbang grenades and shit. You see? Do not destroy the village or town. Do not spoil the cultivated fields or gardens. And do not slaughter the cattle. You see, there's more. But again, there are rules of engagement, everybody, that we are bound to. Bound by God. So every lie that these savages tell is what they do. You heard from the hostage lady. She said they said we're Muslims and we're not going to hurt. I forget the language was now. Just like we're not going to harm you, something like that. I love it. I love it. I want to go to this now. Now, this is my twin. This is Julius Malema, the head of the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters of South Africa, and hear what he has to say.
Let's continue with a local slant on the story now. EFF leader Julius Malema says Hamas cannot be blamed for the deadly attack against Israel earlier this month. Malema says Hamas's defense of the Palestinian people and the fight for freedom is the only option in light of Israel's continued occupation of Palestine. He has addressed supporters outside the Israeli embassy in Pretoria, calling for its closure and for the expulsion of Israel's ambassador to South Africa, Eli.
Boom. Even wants the ambassador for Israel to South Africa out of that bitch. You see? And when he speaks, everybody, I want you to be thinking about us. Because we are the Palestinians in this bitch. And this is what you say to your people.
Belotsakovsky. Pickets have been against Israel have been intensifying around the world after violence erupted.
By the way, as I'm speaking to you now, over 400 people were killed in Palestine just today alone. So add that to the already over 5,000. Let's go.
We are here to extend the same favor to the children of Palestine. The war in Palestine is not a holy war, it's an evil war.
Evil war.
Because even
just in case I'm here to help y'all with accent, y'all. He said evil. It is an evil war. But the way he says evil. I love it. Shut up, Jedi. Go on.
An evil war. Because even here, the apartheid African regime used to say they are the chosen ones, used to say they are children of God, and we are animals. So when the Minister of Defense of Israel calls Palestinians animals, we know what he means because we were called animals ourselves here in South Africa.
You see? And they were under the rule of the same white devil. The same white devil. Listen, nobody else, no other culture has done any of this. Any of this. Where you go to a whole nother continent of people that don't look like you, don't have your language, don't have shit in common with you, and you're just going to take over. Only white people have done that. We want to be very clear about that. And we talk about education. This is the shit your children need to know. Not that Columbus discovered America. You understand? But he came here to blow up the bitch. Let's go on.
By those who were claiming they were sent by God. There is no holy war there. There is an evil war. And we must always stand against the evil. Comrades, what type of government do we have in Israel that goes and bomb a hospital? Where people have run away for refugee, where people are sick, where children are there, where pregnant women are there, you bomb a hospital. And you say you are looking for Hamas, but you are killing innocent children. There is nothing wrong Hamas did. This folk tongues and people speaking in...
That I really love when he said that because y'all know I'm always telling you about the forked tongue of this white devil. And I never heard him say forked tongue until this speech. I love it. Yes, yes, yes.
Children. There is nothing wrong Hamas did. This folk tongues and people speaking in parables and we don't know what they are hearing, what they are saying, it's wrong. When you are oppressed, the only option you have is to fight.
Amen.
And that's
glory. Do you hear that, black people? Not pray, not wait for justice, not wait for investigations and hope and pray and forgiveness. You have no choice but to fight. Hear that again.
When you are oppressed, the only option you have is to fight. And that's what Hamas is doing. They are fighting for their freedom. Mandela did the same thing, took up the guns and fought for the freedom of the people of South Africa. When you are oppressed, you only have one option. Confront the enemy.
Amen.
And shoot to kill. Do not kiss the enemy.
Amen. Glory. 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 And he invoked Nelson Mandela there. I'm going to let you see this clip that I've told you about in the past, where Mandela said that your enemies and our enemies, and the place went up. It's still up.
Why do you want to kiss the enemy? People came, took the land of the...
And also, when he said that, I thought about Botham Shem-John's brother when he wanted to go and hug that devil in the court. When he asked the judge, can I give her a hug? And we all wanted to fucking drag him by his fucking eyelashes out of that bitch. Oh my God.
Africa, when you are oppressed, you only have one option. Confront the enemy and shoot to kill. Do not kiss the enemy. Why do you want to kiss the enemy? People came, took the land of the Palestinians. Every year they extend their occupation. When you look at the map of Palestine, there is nothing left of land in Palestine. The people of Palestine have got nothing to lose but their chains. They must stand up and fight for their freedom, and condemning Hamas is an act of cowardice.
That was it for me. Condemning Hamas is an act of cowardice. Oh, I loved it. 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 And then further in this interview, he says, you'll never get me to condemn Hamas under any circumstance. Because remember, as soon as you get up there, the first thing you got to do you condemn Hamas? No, bitch, I don't condemn. I don't condemn. How about that? I don't condemn. You see, they will tell you that righteous is wrong and wrong is righteous. Fuck these people.
Malema calling for a boycott as well of Israeli
The first
products.
solution is that we must boycott everything Israel.
We must boycott everything Israel.
The embassies of Israel must be removed from all progressive countries.
I love that. I didn't even hear that before. All embassies of Israel must be removed from all, what was the term he used? All progressive countries.
Boycott everything Israel. The embassies of Israel must be removed from all progressive countries.
Yeah, from all progressive countries. Like, just get rid of their ass.
So that Israel, through that isolation, it will know that it has now reached a point where it must go and negotiate with the people of Palestine and agree on a permanent solution. The EFF solution is a two-state solution where the two coexist.
And I don't even agree with that. You know, I mean, you know, at this point, I guess we will allow it. But to me, that's still some bullshit. There is no two-state, because there wasn't two states before your white asses showed up. It was one. You feel me? So, you know, I don't really like that, but I'll allow it. And I really don't, I especially don't like it because, A, of what I just said already, but also because we know one of the firm attributes of white people everywhere is that they pick. You see, until you knock them the fuck out. So even if you have a two-state solution, they will continue to provoke the Palestinians and then claim the Palestinians did something. It will never end. It will never end. They must go by one way or the other.
But we don't want this aggression, that when we say two-state solution, we appear like we're cowards. We appear like we can't do anything to Israel. Israel has to be stopped, so that when an agreement is reached of two-state solution, they are committed to it and they will not continue to expand their territories into Palestinian territory illegally.
Mr. Malema, the reality is, if we really want peace in the world, you even engage your enemies.
Yes.
And taking hardline both sides. It is what has led to where we are. At some point in time, you need a sober leadership that will swallow its pride and its quest for its voice to prevail. For example, when you look currently, you have these superpowers within the Security Council exercising their bully tactics, all of them. And at the end of the day, it is ordinary women, ordinary children.
Look, that's Palestine. We don't have any images like this from fucking Israel. None at all.
Are dying in the world, whether you look at what's happening in relation to conflict on the continent, whether you talk the conflict in between Russia and Ukraine, now Middle East, the long-standing conflict. Leadership at this moment is needed.
Well, Sophie, we are the most sober people. We have been the most reasonable people. The people who are on the Palestine side have always been very reasonable. The arrogance of Netanyahu, the arrogance of the Israeli apartheid government, the arrogance of the Minister of Defense. You can see that these are the people who think that they are superpowers and they are a chosen God as children in a real meaning, because they don't listen to anyone. And it is America, it is NATO, it is UK that encourage that nonsensical attitude of Netanyahu's government. The people of Palestine have suffered for 75 years and they've been cooperative all these years. What did Israel do? Attack them in 2008, attack them in 2012, attack them in 2021, attack them in 2023. They've been consistently attacking them. And when you have been confronted like that, what more option do you have except to fight? I'm saying we are a product of a boycott, an international boycott of sports, of business, which apartheid government suffered. And through that, they talked amongst themselves, the Oppenheimers and them, and said, this apartheid is becoming expensive and is now not going to work. Let's go to the table. It is through when you deal with arrogance, that's what African apartheid was. It was so arrogant and we were so reasonable. They kept on killing children, they kept on killing women, and we had no option but to carry guns and fight for our liberation. And that's what those people are doing in Palestine. They've been very reasonable. He, Netanyahu, must be arrested by the International Criminal Court. He has done worse than what they're accusing Putin of having done.
And not only him, but fucking Biden's diaper-wearing ass should be arrested. And all of fucking Congress. And I mean, there's a whole busloads of people that need to be fucking arrested.
Why is there no warrant of arrest against Netanyahu? So we cannot allow the animal farm story to exist in this world. We are all equal before the law. Why is Netanyahu still roaming the streets free of charge after killing so many children?
Two wrongs don't make it right. On the other hand,
Nah. I hate that when somebody says two wrongs don't make a right. Yes, the fuck it does. Because when you don't answer that wrong, then you get wronged again. You see? So, you wrong me, I fuck you up, you don't fuck with me again. Two wrongs makes everything right. Let us be very clear. And still, that's only one wrong. You see?
Palestinians are rightfully talking about their plight. Then you have Hamas, who has also resorted to perhaps means.
We don't have none of these images from fucking Israel at all. This is all Palestine.
Do you condemn the killing of women and children?
Listen, they always say that you condemn the killing of women and children. You see? Which all this white devil has done is kill women and children in all of humanity since we've known of them and any of their history that we read. And then for any one of them, anywhere, under any circumstances, sit and ask any human being, do they condemn the killing of women and children, should just be knocked the fuck out. How dare?
Resorted to perhaps means that are questionable. Do you condemn the killing of women and children from both sides? I'm talking about the innocent people. I'm not talking about soldiers in the front line.
The innocent, yeah. Absolutely innocent, yes. Obviously. But I love his answer.
I'm not going to condemn Hamas for any reason.
Amen.
You don't invite things on yourself and want to go around seeking sympathy with artificial tears.
Right. You brought it on your own ass. Don't start now, won't be none. You see? Because that's what Israel's position is. They're saying just that you hurt even one person gives them the right to wipe out all of fucking Palestine now. So they don't give a fuck about women and children or innocent or anybody else. I love that. I love his answer. Love it, love it, love it. Let's hear that again.
Soldiers in the front line.
I'm not going to condemn Hamas for any reason. You don't invite things on yourself and want to go around seeking sympathy with artificial tears. I'm not going to do that. If Israel cared about their women and their children, they will not be what they've been. They will not do what they've been doing to Palestine. What must they do? What options do they have except to put their bodies on the line and say you can kill us if you want to? We want our freedom. We want to determine our own destination, and therefore I'm not going to sit here comfortably and condemn Hamas for what they've done. What options do they have? We did the same, Sophie, we fought. The aim has always been to target the army bases, to target the institutions and all of that, but there will always be casualties in a war. And it is regrettable in that sense. But
that was a concept.
Well, I'm saying to you, people are fighting for their freedom. They will do anything for their freedom. And that's what they are doing. Unfortunately, the Israeli government doesn't care about the people of Israel. It is the Israeli people who must now rise against their own government and say, look at what you are doing when you go around provoking people and taking people's land illegally.
Right.
So It can't be a problem of Hamas. It's a problem of a government that is perpetuating inhumanity against the people of Palestine.
And the other issue, the ambassador, when we spoke to the ambassador yesterday, because I've been speaking to both sides to give right to reply as a public broadcaster, he says he's available, he's willing to sit down and talk. If there's an opportunity for you to engage the Israel ambassador to South Africa, will you do that, and what will be your approach?
I'm not going to engage in Israeli ambassador. There's no ambassador. These are criminals.
I love this. She's, in case you didn't understand the question, because remember I told you he wants the Israeli ambassador to South Africa out of that bitch. Like, get the fuck out. She's saying now, you know, I've been talking to both sides, and the Israeli ambassador says he's willing to sit down and talk. Are you willing to sit down and talk? I love his answer. This is what I'm telling you, everybody. Listen, oh my God, let's. I'll do my editorializing. Let's just get through the clip.
To engage the Israel ambassador to South Africa, will you do that, and what will be your approach?
I'm not going to engage in Israeli ambassador. There's no ambassador. These are criminals. Must vacate our land. They must leave. We'll talk with them from that side of their country, not here.
Right.
We'll
talk to them from that side. Like, once they get the fuck out, then if they, we could talk about talking to them. There's no talking to go on here. No. They're not. They're criminals.
They must leave. We'll talk with them from that side of their country, not here. The first thing which must be an immediate task of the South African government is to request these people to leave, so that we demonstrate seriousness. And they know by the time we talk to them, they know these ones are serious. They are not clownish. When they take a stand, they take a stand, and now we have to cooperate. But if we're going to talk to the ambassador of Israel, business as usual, he will not listen to us. He's just going to mark register that I made the EFF. So what? We cannot meet murderers. We cannot meet people who are committing genocide against women and children of Palestine. Let them leave our land first. Then we can talk after. We have reached a point where we must no longer talk. Let them leave. And let every product of Israel be removed from the shelves in South Africa, so that Israel can start feeling the pain and then come to the table from a genuine point of view.
Amen. Rahim of Allah for this brother. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. That's a leader, everybody. That's a man. Do you understand? Listen, we're letting this white devil dictate the problem and the solution on everything. None of humanity is pushing back against these people in a real and tangible way that really injures them and their ability to fuck up the rest of humanity. That's why you need voices like this. That's why you need voices like this. You know, no diplomacy. Fuck all of that. We get right down to where you at. I love Michelle Obama. Y'all know I will fight you, because I have the video of her descending from the clouds on the wings of angels. She is an angel. But damn it, when they go low, god damn it, we get nasty. You understand? We don't go high. Fuck that. Nah. That's the dude. That's the dude. What else did I need to show you? This is what I had mentioned to you. Alhamdulillah. And again, this goes all the way back to the 1990s. Because remember, they've been exacting genocide and a Holocaust upon the Palestinians since before any of us was born. And so here it was now. Nelson Mandela Madiba is free, and he's at some college in New York for a town hall. And there the white devils are again, asking him about Palestine and his support for the Palestinian leader, Yasser Arafat. All right? And this was his historic answer. The place went up. It is still up. Hear this. So it's Ted Koppel's interviewing him, but then they have questions from the audience, and who believes they're just really the audience. You know, they got folks planted. You feel me? So this is a plant, but that's fine.
Those of us who share your struggle for human rights and against apartheid have been somewhat disappointed by the models of human rights that you have held up since being released in jail. You've met over the last 6 months 3 times with Yasser Arafat. Are these your models of leaders of human rights? And if so, would you want a Gaddafi or an Arafat or a Castro to be a future president of South Africa?
You see, he's naming everybody. Would you want Arafat, and he named these other people? Would you want them to be a future president of South Africa? Like naming everybody that, because remember, white people are the enemy of all humanity. You see? And so they want you to, whoever they've decided is an enemy, they want you to say that's an enemy too. You see? And so anybody they say they hate, I absolutely adore and love and will have them over for tea and crumpets, bitch. But hear this now. The sarcasm and the shade and the question as well. I think I've got back far enough.
That you have held up since being released in jail. You've met over the last 6 months 3 times with Yasser Arafat. Are these your models of leaders of human rights? And if so, would you want a Gaddafi or an Arafat or a Castro to be a future president of South Africa?
One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies.
The place went up. The place went up. It went up. It's still up. It's still up. You understand? Right now, as I speak, it's still up. Classic, perfect, classic, classic, classic. Classic, 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 classic. Do you understand what I'm telling you? That's the main one. I thought there was another piece of this, but we'll hear the rest of the answer because there was a little bit more of this though.
Our attitude towards any country is determined by the attitude of that country to our struggle.
Amen. You see, it's determined by their attitude towards our struggle, not your white ass. You see, what we going through. You see. And there was 1,000 people at this town hall. That's a real number. I'm not making that up. There was 1,000 people that were at this particular town hall.
Yasser Arafat, Colonel
Gaddafi,
Fidel Castro support our struggle to the hilt. They do not support it only in rhetoric. They are placing resources at our disposal for us to win the struggle.
There's my other king. May Allah rest his soul. There's Harry Belafonte. Oh man, subhanallah. Wow.
That is the position.
Then they had this Zionist to stand up. By the way, I see Jesse Jackson there, right here. Okay, miss him. And here's what the Zionists had to say. Because again, it's the same fucking people. It doesn't matter what decade you find them in. You see? So here is Mandela saying, we don't got no problem with Yasser Arafat. Our struggle is the same as the Palestinian people we share with them. Same thing Julius Malema is saying now. You feel me? But these white devils are a scratch record. They're still saying the same shit. Hear what this bastard has to say.
Sigmund? I think I would be dishonest if I did not express profound disappointment with the answer that Mr. Mandela gave to the previous question.
Well, take a purge.
Because it suggests a certain degree of amorality.
See, they had to hush people because they booing him like, set your chest down, sat.
As far as Yasser Arafat is concerned, I explained to Mr. Sidney that we identify with the PLO because just like ourselves, they are fighting for the right of self-determination.
See? And what did Julius Malema say? You see? We fought the same shit here in South Africa. So of course we stand with Hamas. Of course we stand with the Palestinians. Of course. Look at these fake Zionist fuckers with their little hat. You see, this is these are the same ones that I think I can find the video where they're screaming death to Arabs, you know, in Israel, that they're dogs and they're celebrating the deaths of Palestinians and shit. It's young little fucking big-nosed radicals like this. Just white demons, everybody. They're no special human being. They're not some special race or some shit. They're nothing but fucking white people. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Mr. Mandela.
Look, and they're highly they can't go on with what he's saying. Yeah, this now. Then I think this will be our last piece now. This Zionist bastard asks Madiba. At first, he sets it up by saying, you know, there's always been a close relationship with the Jews and the black community because a lot of this audience is black. You know, going back always civil rights struggle, this and the bullshit. And basically, like, you know, some things you're saying here today, they might be displeased. They may start calling some of their Congress people and things like that. And he's like, fuck all of that. And he says, I've talked to the Jewish leaders. I've told them what's up, blah, 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 blah. And then he hits them with this. After he names all the Jewish people he's talked to, many of them serve in our country at the highest positions, blah, 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 blah. But
if the Jewish leader have any doubts about our stand, I am prepared to address them and to allay their concern, because they are a very important community both in South Africa and, of course, in the States. And I'm prepared to iron out any differences that might exist. But they must know what our stand is. Arafat is a comrade in arms, and we treat him as such.
Yasser Arafat is a comrade in arms, and we treat him as such.
We have many Jews, members of the Jewish community in our struggle, and they have occupied very top positions. But that does not mean to say that the enemies of Israel are our enemies. We refuse to take that position.
The enemies of Israel are not our enemies. Boom.
You can call it being political or a moral question.
This is the main punchline right here. Here we go.
But for anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
And the place went up. Went up. Went up. Now, that's all we needed from this. But you should go and watch the entire town hall on your own, everybody. In fact, it's Nelson Mandela Town Hall Interview, June 21, 1990. And you see the full thing because there's, you know, other questioners in the audience that stand up and ask questions and things like that. But it also gives you such a sense of what a solid... I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that Mandela did. My main thing was him not seeking to revenge when he came out of prison, and he kind of let white people off the hook. I don't appreciate the shit. That's why Julius Malema and others have had to come along now and clean up a lot of the mess. You see, but that aside, he was a solid man, you know, um, and like any man, I'm sure he evolved in his thinking and positions and principles and things like that over the decades and blah blah blah. But whatever, you know. Yeah, but this shit that's happening now is a scourge against all of humanity, everybody. It just is. The world cannot go on and allow these tyrants to continue wreaking havoc upon humanity, quite frankly, but in this hour on the Palestinians. You know, no one can be okay with that. No one can be okay with that. They can protest all they want. They can do their double speak and their fork tongue bullshit. The fact of the matter is, it is racial at its core. They hate these Palestinians. They want them dead anyway. And they're using this hoax that they produced, claiming that 5,000 rockets landed on them, which we've not seen a single piece of evidence to back that up. And they keep making other shit worse, like they went door to door. They were killing people in their house and burning them alive. Where's the evidence? Where's it at? And they're exposed now because people are seeing they're just bold-faced lying. Just bold-faced lying. No truth there, whatever. And no sympathy at all. So they staged this 5,000 rocket hoax. But when Hamas or somebody else finally does unleash 5,000 of anything on their bitch ass, the world will celebrate. Inshallah. I think we'll end on this, everybody. I don't know how far we are in now. I didn't really want this to be a long piece, but whatever. This is perfect because there's a Palestinian journalist who was up here on Sky News with this Meredith Vieira wannabe. And I'm presenting this from the standpoint of, you know, not only just the fork tongue and lying of the white devil, but also what I always tell you about is language. I always tell you, listen carefully to what people say, how they're saying it, but also what language do they use to say it. I've said that to you. You should be sick of me saying it now. Like you should have fallen over when I said it right now. You're so sick and tired of hearing it. But I'm never going to stop because that's important. And when you're talking about a war of propaganda as well, the lying of these demons to convince the ignorant of the untruth, it becomes even more important. And I appreciated how sharp this journalist was, that she caught it. See this now.
It has been 2 weeks since Hamas first launched its attack on Israel. It saw 1,400 people killed. Since then, Palestinian officials say that more than 4,000 people have died in Gaza. Reporting on the war has been personal for Palestinian journalist and human rights advocate Yara.
I'll play it again to see if you catch it.
Hamas first launched its attack on Israel, it saw 1,400 people killed. Since then, Palestinian officials say that more than 4,000 people have died in Gaza.
Did you catch it?
Reporting on the war has been personal for Palestinian journalist and human rights advocate Yara Eid, who joins me now. Yara, thank you for joining us here on Sky News. I understand that recent events have caused you personally a great deal of grief and pain.
Well, I lost more than 30 members of my immediate family, and they were civilians. They were not part of any militant group. Most of them were children. 17 of them are children. Not only that, but my best friend is a journalist, was a journalist, and Israel killed him in cold blood on the 7th of October while he was covering the Ares border. And he was wearing a press vest, he was wearing his helmet. And I just want to say, before I continue talking about what's happening, when you first introduced what's happening, you said more than 1,400 people have been killed in Israel and more than 4,000 in Palestine have died. I think language is really important to use, because language, as a journalist, you have the moral responsibility to report on what's happening. Palestinians don't just die, they
Amen.
get killed. They are actually being
You hear that? You see? That's why I said, did you catch it? Because that's what they always say. Palestinians died, Israelis were killed. You see? We'll take it back just a skosh and go on, but go on.
Have died. I think language is really important to use, because language, as a journalist, you have the moral responsibility to report on what's happening. Palestinians don't just die, they get killed. They are actually being subjected to ethnic cleansing, to genocide for the last 75 years. Also mentioned that this is a Hamas-Israel war. Framing it as such is very misleading, because it poses the thing that Israel is an equal power, but it's an occupying power, and it actually has the responsibility of protecting all civilian lives and children in Gaza. But what we've been seeing is more than 1,700 of those who are killed are children.
Hamas launched the attack on Israel. As a Palestinian, what did you expect would happen next?
Well, I think, again, I'm sorry, but I think this is misleading, because you can't water down what's been happening about the attack on the 7th of October. Let's talk about 2014. Let's talk about 2021. Let's talk about all the aggressions, Palestinians in Gaza. Me personally, let's not talk about Palestinians in Gaza. I've lived through 4 horrible aggressions. That's actually why I left Gaza in the first place. I saw people getting cut into pieces in front of my eyes when I was 14 years old. I spent the last 7 years trying to get therapy to get over my PTSD, my traumatic experience of just living there. So this is, again, you're misleading by saying it's a Hamas attack. You need to say what's been happening. We can't look at it just by looking at what's happened on the 7th of October. Why are you not talking about all of the other attacks on worshippers in Al-Aqsa Mosque, on, kidnapping women and raping them in Israeli jails, all these Palestinians who are being killed in the West Bank? Why are you not asking me about them? Hamas does not operate there.
That's perfect, because it goes what I'm telling you. They always want to start from right now and act like all the bullshit they did, it didn't happen. That just right now, this is it. You see, like even before Rodney King, we had decades and generations of police brutality. Every fucking riot that's ever happened in this bitch by us has been precipitated from police violence. That's 100% true. And then by the time you get to George Floyd, it's supposed to be all brand new. Nah, bitch. You see? Oh, man. Oh, ya Allah.
Yara Eid, good to get your perspective on Sky News. Thank you very much.
See, the bitch is done now. Thanks to get your perspective. Way too much truth. We don't have anything to defend that with, and we're not prepared we have prepared our lie against that. So nice to have you, Yara. Okay, bye-bye and shit. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. SubhanAllah. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm just drained. I'm drained. White people are draining. Just draining. Exhausting having to deal with these people at all. Anything we want to point to, there's a white hand. And it's time that humanity begin to wake up and see these people for exactly what they are. And for much of humanity to start to shut them out and to isolate them because you will have an easier time and less problems when you invite them in. You just invited in the devil. You know, there can never be peace. There can never be just harmony or anything because they are not capable of it. They're just not capable. From Ukraine to West Africa to Palestine to anywhere you want to look on the earth, it's these people that are the problem. That is 100% true. 100% true. I'm going to continue to follow this, everybody, obviously, because I can't even, I'm just so on edge, you know, and so furious. At the same time, I'm overwhelmed with a feeling of helplessness, you know, and frustration, um, and disappointment. I mean, there's a symphony of emotions that I am going through, you know, and I suspect it's not just me, you know, um, but wow, I don't know what's happening right now as I speak to you. As I said, I know that over 400 people were murdered in Palestine and Gaza today. And, you know, my time has been consumed, well, outside of my personal life and stuff that I have to do. But after that, this is what has consumed me. You're trying to follow every minute of this and what's going on and what lies being told now. You know, we're just sick and fucking tired of it. We're just sick and tired of it. But I think one of the most important things I could leave you with as a reminder is that we are not dealing with Jews in all of this. Israel is not a Jewish state. Release that from your lexicon, from your psyche. Release that. Throw that out. Throw that out. Hear this now. Israel is not a Jewish state. That's one. Number two, the people of Israel are not fucking Jews. That's number two. Number three, go back and watch the video before this one. I'll try to have it in the cards or however you do that shit to have it pop up. Excuse me. Orthodox Jews, people who follow Torah, who follow the law, and who identify themselves as part of the Jewish faith, do not support the state of Israel. They call it an illegal state. They are against Zionism. Zionist is who runs this fucking place. And by the way, that was the last thing that the fucker from the UN said. I need to let you hear that. The bastard that was up there earlier saying that he canceled the meeting with the Brazilian guy who was the head of the UN Security Council. That's what he said, something, something, and to Zion. And I was like, fuck you. And I know that went over the heads of many people who don't listen to the Jedi. Because I have been very clear in my work since 2015 to make the distinction for you. One of my earliest videos on my first channel, my 23,000 subscriber channel, was Judaism, Jews, Judaism, and Zionism, or something like that. But that whole video was about explaining that Zionists and Jews are not the same. Period. And it's important to make that distinction for people so they don't think that they're supporting Jews. You are not. You're supporting demons, devils, Zionists, who are in no way connected to the Jewish faith at all. At all. Let's hear this asshole and we'll be out. This is the asshole. And I was almost tempted to play his entire piece, but I don't know how far we are in now. So I just cited the end part of it, so that's what I'll let you hear. Because again, this Zion bullshit, you see, they're nothing but Zionists, everybody. These are not holy people. These are not the Jews. When we talk about Jews, as I always tell you, you don't know any of them because they're nowhere, you don't see them. They're very low key like the Muslim. We're everywhere yet nowhere. You understand? And so these are just nothing but Zionists. And hear what he says at this end part of his speech now. Turn your volume up because I can't get any more out of it.
At this difficult time for the people of Israel, we say loudly, we are strong. We will rebuild. We are determined and resolved to achieve our dream, to be a free nation in our land, the land of Zion and Jerusalem.
You see that? The land of Zion, bitch. You see? Hear that again.
And resolved to achieve our dream, to be a free nation in our land, the land of Zion
The land of Zion in Israel.
and Jerusalem.
In Jerusalem or whatever the fuck he said. I mean, fuck these people. No sympathy at all. None at all. None. And as I've said to you in previous work, there are no innocent ones there because you can't live there and not see that the Palestinians are treated like shit and that they're not a part of the society. There's roads they're not even allowed to drive on or walk on or be on. There's a wall. They're separated. There's barbed wire. All the shit. You see? And they have done exactly and are doing to the Palestinians what they want everybody to feel so sympathy for their shit back in World War II that happened for 3.5 years. So you can't live there and not know that you're in a place. And if all you have to do is turn on the TV and know that you're in a place that is some bullshit. So you should just leave. And if you choose to stay there, then you have blood on. You have the blood of the Palestinians on your hands. You're not innocent, and you're worthy of death, just like the rest of the motherfuckers there. It's that simple. It's that simple. So we'll continue to follow this, everybody. I don't know what day of the week it is. I feel like this is. I feel like this might be. I feel like this might be Tuesday. And so we'll be together, inshallah, over the next day or two. But in the meantime, you know, I need to have these moments, you know, where I can't do a full live stream and all that stuff, but I can put out something like this. Yeah. So that we'll leave it here. Meanwhile, go and do your homework and discipline yourselves to make commitments in your own lives to do what you can at your level where you're at. Excuse me. So we're not in Palestine, you know, but there's things we can do still. And one of them you can do is to start identifying companies and products that support fucking Israel and you don't have shit else to do with them. I leave it there. This is the Jedi.